National Pro-Life Speaker and President of Save the One, a global pro-life organization of over 600 of us who were conceived and raped like me, and mothers who became pregnant by rape, as well as hundreds who were told by doctors to abort. We value our lives and the lives of our children. Abortion advocates will say that it's barbaric to force a rape victim to carry a rapist child. First of all, I am not the child of a rapist. I am the child of a rape victim. And my mother and I object to me being characterized otherwise. Secondly, it is simply barbaric to punish an innocent child for someone else's crime. Justice dictates that in a civilized society, we punish rapists, not babies. I did not deserve the death penalty for the crime of my biological father. My own birth mother had tried to kill me at 2 illegal abortions before Roe v. Wade, and was pro-choice when we met 30 years ago. She said that if abortion had been legal in Michigan at the time, she would have aborted me. I literally owe my birth to pro-life legislators who protected me. You're my heroes. Legality matters. Today, my birth mother and I are both thankful that we were both protected by law from the horror of abortion. I am a person, and so it is personal, and I take it personally when there are rape exceptions added. I deserve life and dignity, every bit as much as anyone else. The targeting of life is dehumanizing and demoralizing, not just for those yet unborn, but for every person living who is conceived in violence. Adding exceptions sends a message to our people groups that our lives are worth less than anyone else's, and we ache from such malice and the reckless disregard for our lives. Rape survivor mothers grieve how their children are systematically targeted and devalued. They suffer more because they are not believed they were raped since they did not abort, and because they actually love their children. We appreciate concern for rape victims, but they are 4 times more likely to die within the next year after the abortion. In Dr. David Reardon's book, Victims and Victors, he cites the research done on the subject. After abortion, rape victims have a higher rate of being murdered, committing suicide, drug overdose, etc. Rapists, child molesters, and sex traffickers love abortion, which destroys the evidence and enables them to continue perpetrating. Oftentimes, a girl's own mother has been either trafficking her or leaving her unprotected. It is always the baby who is the hero of the story by exposing the rape, delivering her out of the abusive situation, protecting her, and bringing her healing. So if you really care about rape victims, you must protect her from the rapist and from the abortion. The baby is not the scary enemy. It's just absurd to suggest that any woman should have to be afraid of a baby. In regards to a prenatal diagnosis of incompatible with life, like my daughter Cassie was, it's impossible for the baby to be such when the unborn child is still living. As long as there is a heartbeat, there is life, and there is hope. Physicians who peddle abortion are truly the ones with fatal heart defects, often failing to treat the children of parents who refuse to abort. A eugenics mentality becomes pervasive when you allow abortion for any reason. I hear the language of the abortion lobby and how they try to demean pro-life legislators by characterizing them as antiquated, as if killing the most vulnerable is somehow progressive. The truth is, states which pass a heartbeat bill are morally superior because you will establish the most important characteristics of a thriving state, one where people are loved, protected, and accepted. Child sacrifice is what's antiquated. The abortion forces merely use the rape issue to try to keep abortion legal on demand for any reason through all 9 months of pregnancy, through birth, in fact, at taxpayer expense, just like they did in New York, New Mexico, and other states. In Roe v. Wade, Norma McCorvey, Jane Roe, was told by her attorneys to lie that she was gang raped. These 60 million children have been killed in the womb based upon a lie of rape. The abortion advocates know this, and that's why they exploit the violation of women to open the door for killing any and all unborn children. I urge you to pass Senate Bill 23, the heartbeat bill without exceptions. My heart beats just like everyone else's. I'm free for questions, I want you to know that as an attorney, I sued the state of Iowa they added discriminatory exceptions because it violates the 14th Amendment. I have litigated numerous high-profile cases. I've testified before legislatures all over the country, all over the world, in fact. And my philosophical abortion essay has been writing top essay for decades, and I can speak to any of these issues that have come up during questioning earlier.
Thank you very much for your testimony and willingness to assist the field. Any questions? Senator Matilda.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your testimony. So one of the things that we have dealt with in the conversation around this bill is the fact that it's very difficult for any of us to walk in each other's shoes. I don't know what your life has been like, but you stand before us very confident, very well educated, well spoken on these issues, and I appreciate that.
Just real quick, I was adopted and raised in an atheist Jewish family, abused growing up. They valued education, but it was my pro-life atheist Jewish grandmother who taught me my values.
I appreciate that. And so what I want to say, and I won't ask you a question, but is that I have been very vocal about an exception for rape and incest. And it's because of people, the women that I know that have experienced those kinds of traumas. And so I just want to say that not everyone who advocates on behalf of those exceptions does anything more than wanting to have the decision of how whatever happens go forward be firmly in the grasp of that victim and not anyone else's decision. And so there's a lot of reasons why we end up in those places. But I think it's important for me, and then I'll ask you a question. I think it's important to just say that there are a lot of reasons why I am certainly one of those people who advocate on behalf of that. It's not for every single person to have an abortion, but for that victim, that woman who is pregnant, to make her own decision that I don't believe I can make, nor anyone else can make for her. That's between her, her God, and whomever else she brings into the conversation. So my question to you is, as you've looked at the laws across the country, is this piece of legislation, do you feel that it is of the caliber for the Roe challenge?
I do. And I will tell you, by the way, that the only states that had exceptions added to the Heartbeat Bill were Arkansas's original bill that got passed, and then also Iowa. Right now, Iowa's bill has been held unconstitutional because the Iowa Supreme Court found a right to an abortion under the Iowa Constitution. So in states like North Dakota and Iowa and other states, they're finding a right to an abortion under the state constitution instead of challenging pro-life legislation in federal court because they know that this could be a challenge. And so they try to keep it out of federal court by keeping it in state court. I know that here you have a more conservative judiciary. So in all likelihood, this would be sued in federal court. Same thing in Kentucky. They have a pro-life judiciary, and in Mississippi and other states where it's being passed. The rest of the bills are being introduced all over the country that have been passed in other states do not have a rape exception. And this was addressed in footnote 54 of the Supreme Court's opinion, Roe v. Wade, in the discussion of personhood. They said that, if in fact an unborn child's a person, that they would be entitled to their right to life, their 14th Amendment right not to be deprived of, being deprived of the right to life without due process, and then it also says that no state shall deny a person equal protection. So the issue is personhood, right? It's not when life begins, it's personhood. And the court had pointed out that unborn child had never been fully recognized as persons in the full legal sense. That was the term we used, in the full legal sense. So law has been schizophrenic. We have, as a woman, you go in for x-ray, you have to have a lead apron on, and you have to sign a release that there's no way that you think you're pregnant, right? Because even from early on, from conception, you have to make sure you protect that unborn child from harm. We, abolished certain drugs in this country because of harm to unborn children, and they have a right to be have their inheritance protected if they were conceived before someone died. Every single state has a law that allows the court to appoint a guardian ad litem to protect their right to inherit, but not the right to life. So the law is very schizophrenic. And so the court said that the fact that Texas had exceptions and exemptions undermined the state's whole argument for personhood. And so that's one of the reasons why it's really important that you don't have exceptions. Because otherwise, you are undermining this argument of personhood. So really what you're doing here is when you afford legal protection, you are affording personhood in a heartbeat case. And I just want to point out, this is why you mentioned about your concern for rape victims, and that's why I specifically said in my testimony that I appreciate your concern for pregnant rape victims. My own birth mother, precious mother, is a rape victim, and my best friends in life, like I said, over 600, mostly mothers from rape, that are part of our organization, and they are my best friends in life, and I want people to be concerned for their welfare as pregnant rape victims. It's just that violence doesn't bring more healing.
Seeing no more additional questions, thank you very much for your testimony. I also did not receive any additional witness